Hi everyone, welcome to Coach Jamie Tips Live, and today I have a topic about fighting for it. There's a new program coming out that has a lot of fighting, and it just brought to mind some things about fighting for it, and I mean the mental fight, not the physical. And oh, hi, whoever liked this. I can't see. I don't know why it's not telling me who's in the audience, but okay. So the whole fight for it thing is something that I'm so familiar with in the mental space because my whole life I have been a fighter. Nobody could ever accuse me of not being a fighter. If I had a goal, I would chase after it. I would never give up until I reached that goal, right? I ran for president. I ran for school president. I can't even tell you how many years in a row, and I never got it, but I kept doing it. I got back up and I tried again. It wasn't meant to be. I'm not sad about it. I'm just saying I kept persistently fighting after it, even after I continuously lost. So that's one of the things. Another thing, I failed the bar twice. Third time I finally passed. I wanted to give up after that second time, but I didn't. I kept through it because I'm a fighter, right? But that's not always a good thing. Fighting for what matters is definitely important, without a doubt. But what happens sometimes is that we fight to stay where we're at. Like, we know something's not right. We know we need to change something. We know we need to grow. We know we need to change our eating habits. We know we need to change our fitness routine. We know we need to change maybe a bad relationship we're in or a job that we hate. And we stay there and we fight ourselves with how miserable it makes us to stay where we're at, because we'd rather be comfortable and suffer the misery of being comfortable than to actually make a change and fight for what we want and what we know we need and what is good for us. So there's sometimes you just have to ask yourself, like, what am I fighting for? And why am I fighting? And what is the end goal that I am seeking here? And there's another thing too about fighting. When you fight for something, sometimes we are fighting the wrong battles. Like me, I am so seriously, I get so easily overwhelmed because I take on way too much of everything. I don't know if any of you out there are like that, but I am the kind of person that says yes to everything. And then all of a sudden I find myself completely overwhelmed with all of the things I said yes to. And I'm fighting to get through all of it, but it's not physically possible to get it done in, the 24 hours I have in a day. And then I shut down because I can't do it all. And I totally space out for a couple days. This has happened so many times in my life because I don't know when to say no, and I'm fighting for all the wrong things. And then I'm fighting myself for not being able to accomplish what's not humanly possible to accomplish, right? So here I am fighting myself when the fight isn't that. Sometimes the fight is you. Sometimes you gotta conquer your fears. Sometimes you gotta conquer the things that aren't working for you. For me, my fight is learning how to say no to things that aren't suiting me, to say no to things that I can't fit into my schedule. I have to look at the bigger picture and what my goals are and what I'm trying to do here. And I believe that my purpose here is to help other people, to help be a voice for people who can't have a voice for themselves, to help people see the greatness inside of them that I see, to help build them up so that they can get there. That's part of my purpose. And I can't do that if I'm saying yes to 80 million other things and not saying yes to the real things that matter to me. So it's just something that came up today, and I really wanted to share this with all of you, because I think so many times we're just fighting. We're just putting our nose down to the grindstone because that's how we were taught, and that's what society is, and that's America, right? We're fast paced. We got to get stuff done, and you only succeed if you reach all these milestones, and you're only successful if you get all these things on your to-do list. And that's not it. That is not the goal. It is not crossing things out of a to-do list. Your goal is your passion, is your purpose, is whatever it is that you want to do next, whatever it is that makes your heart sing. That's your goal. That's what you gotta fight for. Stop fighting for all the other stuff that doesn't matter. And I say this because it's something that I go through every single day, and it's something that I'm getting a lot better at, but it's something that I've dealt with for so long that I spend so much time fighting for things that do not matter to me, and I find myself in these situations. And then I waste all my energy on the stuff that doesn't count. It doesn't matter. It doesn't help me. It doesn't help anybody else. It doesn't help move me forward towards my goals. It doesn't help anybody else move them forward. It's just perpetuating a cycle. So before you just react and throw yourself into something like I always do, really think about what it is that you want to accomplish, because it makes it so much easier to align your actions when you're fighting hard for something to something that matters. And that's going to keep your eyes on the goal, and that's going to keep you making the right decisions and actually putting the fight where it counts. Because it doesn't matter like what you're going to make for dinner when you have people coming over. Like, yeah, it matters, but it's not something to take all the energy out of you. Like, oh my God, what if they like it? Oh my God, what if they don't like it? Oh my God, is it gonna be like, I know it's easy for me to cook. I have fun in the kitchen, and I stress myself out about way too many things, and it's so unnecessary. Oh, thanks, Eileen. So true, being miserable because you're comfortable. That it's such a crazy thing that you don't realize that we stick to things that are comfortable because we don't want to, sorry, I have these notifications and they're making me crazy. We stick to things that are comfortable because we're afraid to make a change. And that's a fear-based thing. That's all that is. But if you feed that fear and you fight for that, you give your energy to that, you're going to be 3 steps backwards from where you started. You're never going to move forward. So you have to start thinking about what you want and what you're willing to put the fight in for. Because you can't fight for everything. You can't. Same way as you're never going to please everybody, right? I stopped believing in that long ago. Some people just aren't going to like me, and that's okay. I'm totally cool with that. I am who I am. I'm not going to pretend to be somebody else so that I can please them. I drop the F-bomb all the time. I curse. Like, that's not everybody's cup of tea, but that's who I am. So in that same vein, I'm not going to fight for things that don't matter. I'm not going to put my energy into something that is not going to get me anywhere I want to go or get anybody else where they want to go, and nor will it fulfill my purpose. Oh, James, I worry too. What about if you're watching football and your team is losing? Well, I can say as a Giants fan, although we did win this week, that's a typical Sunday for me. And that's a whole different kind of energy. I try not to let that impact my whole week, but there's definitely like some Sundays that I'm totally bummed out when I put a lot of energy into the Giants and they lose. But I totally feel you there. It's real hard to give that up. But you know what? Sunday is a fun time with family, and I don't let myself get anxious about letting other things go because I'm focused on watching football for a couple of hours, whenever the Giants game is, and hanging out with my family and being focused on that. And that's something that used to get me because I used to feed so much energy into, oh, here's all the other stuff I should be doing. It's Sunday. I'm supposed to be catching up on this and that and the other. No, it's Sunday. It's family day. It's football day. And I'm going to focus my energy on that, and that's okay. So, Mary, I almost jumped to something that did not matter at all. See? It was liberating to let it be. Fuck it. It's totally right. Fuck it. Because it doesn't matter. Like, don't feed your energy into the things that are totally pointless for you. And sometimes it can be so hard to see that. I totally appreciate that, and that's so much of my life, is that you cannot actually see the things that are not of value because in the middle of it, you think it matters so much and you focus so much energy on it. But the best thing I can say about that is take a step back. Like, really, if you find yourself feeding energy to things that you know when you're feeding energy to things that are not appropriate, that are not helping you or anyone else in any way, but you get that sinking feeling and you take a step back and you think about it. Is worrying about this or feeding this or fighting for this going to help me, going to help somebody else? And if you're doing it for somebody else because you're a yes person like me, like, is that really helping them? Is it really helping them? Because so many times when we fight for other people, not fight for other people, because that's a terrible way to say it. I find when I fight for other people, it's usually for a good reason. But when you spend your time and energy on other people that may or may not appreciate it, you're just feeding a cycle. You're just feeding a cycle of them being able to turn to you and ask for your help every single time something goes wrong, and they're never going to grow and solve their own problems. So that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother time, and helping people without actually doing stuff for them, because that takes a lot of energy out of you and it doesn't help them either. So you really have to take a step back. F-bombs is a stress reliever. It's so true, Eileen. See, I don't wrap any energy up in whether or not I say fuck. Fuck it. It doesn't matter. It's who I am. Oh, thanks, Eileen. But you know, when you really have to take a step back and say, is it helping me? Is it helping somebody else? Is it really helping them? Or is it making me feel better because I think I'm doing something for them that's helping them? Because that's just helping your ego. That's not helping anybody. It's not helping you. It's not helping them. So seriously think about what you're fighting for. And only fight for the things, because we all have to do things we don't want to do sometimes, it's life, but only fight for the things that matter to you. And you're going to know when you start thinking about it. Please yourself, make you happy. Please God and yourself. It's true. It's exactly right. Sometimes you're just enabling a losing situation. Oh, thanks, Eileen. I'm glad you got something out of it. It's true. So you just got to put your focus and your love out there. Fight for the things that matter to you and take a step back and analyze that. So that's where I'm coming from you today. And I love you all. Woo woo! Thanks, Felicia. So stop putting your fucking energy in places where it doesn't count and stop fighting for things that don't matter to you. And really focus your fight on what does matter, and everything's gonna start changing. I promise. If your dress rips, James, you drop some F-bombs and you ask somebody to help you sew it up. Tie a shirt around your waist. I don't know. Start coming up with solutions. Don't throw your energy at it. Fix it. Fix it. That's it. Love you. Have a great day. Bye, everyone.